If your credit score is low, getting approved for a credit card can feel impossible. So when a company finally says yes, it feels like a win. But what if that yes is actually costing you hundreds of dollars every year? Today, we're talking about Concora credit cards and why they might be one of the most expensive mistakes you can make when trying to fix your credit. Now, before we get into the fees and the traps, let's first understand what Concora actually is. Concora isn't a traditional bank. You won't see them on a street corner. Instead, they partner with banks to offer credit cards to people with bad or limited credit. So if your score is in the 500s and most banks are rejecting you, Concora is one of the companies that will still approve you. But here's the thing. They're taking a bigger risk, and because of that, they charge you a lot more. They offer cards like Milestone, Indigo, and Destiny. Different names, but honestly, they all work pretty much the same. And this is where things start to get interesting. One of the main ways they attract people is by saying you don't need a deposit. Now, if you've looked into building credit before, you've probably heard of secured cards. Those require you to put down money up front, usually somewhere between $50 and $200. Concora skips that part. No deposit sounds great, especially if you're tight on cash. But here's the catch. Instead of a deposit, they charge you fees. And not just one fee, multiple fees, over and over again. And unlike a deposit, you never get that money back. So let's talk about what you're actually paying. First, there's the annual fee. Some of these cards charge you before you even use the card. So if you get a $300 limit and they take a $75 fee right away, you're already starting with less available credit. Then, after the first year, it gets worse. They start charging a monthly maintenance fee, around $12.50 every single month. That's $150 a year just to keep the card open. Now, if you step back and look at the bigger picture, year one, you might pay around $175 in fees. Year two, close to $200. Year three, another $200. That's nearly $600 just to have the card. No rewards, no cash back, no real benefits, just fees. And we're not even done yet. Now let's talk about interest, because this is where things can really get dangerous. Most credit cards already have high interest rates, somewhere around 20%. Concora cards, around 35.9%. That's extremely high. So if you carry a balance, even a small one, it starts adding up fast. For example, if you owe $1,000, you could be paying close to $30 every month just in interest. And if you're only making minimum payments, you can get stuck in debt for a very long time. That's why if you ever use a card like this, you have to make one rule for yourself. Always pay the full balance every month. No exceptions. Now, here's another thing most people don't expect. With most credit cards, if you try to spend more than your limit, the payment just gets declined. Concora does something different. They'll actually let the purchase go through. Sounds helpful until you see the fee. You can get charged over $40 just for going a little over your limit. And if you don't fix it quickly, they can charge you again. So one small mistake can turn into a big problem very fast. And then there's something else they might offer you, called credit protection. It sounds like a safety net. If something happens, like losing your job or getting sick, it helps cover your payments. But it's not free. They charge you based on how much you owe. So the more balance you carry, the more you pay. For most people, it's just another cost that slowly eats away at your money. Now, let's talk about the long-term problem with these cards. With most banks, if you use your card responsibly, you eventually move up. You get better cards, lower fees, maybe even rewards. That doesn't really happen here. You could use a Concora card perfectly for years and still be stuck paying the same fees. There's no real upgrade path. That's why, if you ever get one of these cards, you should think of it as temporary. Use it, build your credit, and move on as soon as you can. Now here's the good news. There are better options. If you can afford it, secured credit cards are usually a much smarter choice. Yes, you need to put down a deposit, but that's your money. You get it back later. And many secured cards have no annual fee, offer rewards, and can upgrade into regular cards over time. So instead of paying hundreds in fees, you're building your credit for almost nothing. No matter which route you choose, the goal is the same. Use the card for one small purchase a month. Wait for the bill. Pay it off in full. Never miss a payment. And keep your balance low. That's how you build credit the right way. So at the end of the day, should you get a Concora card? Only if you've been rejected everywhere else. You can't afford a deposit right now, and you're planning to use it short term. Otherwise, it's better to avoid it. There are cheaper and smarter ways to rebuild your credit. Because at the end of the day, credit cards are just tools. Used the right way, they can help you. Used the wrong way, they can cost you a lot of money. So always read the fine print and choose carefully. If this helped you, make sure to like and subscribe for more simple breakdowns on money and credit. And I'll see you in the next one.